I have PTSD of hiking because of my trip to Peru. I hiked the famous Inca Trail to Machu Picchu for 4 days. I had altitude sickness. It was totally my fault and I had to learn it the hard way. Hi, I'm Divija. Welcome back to my channel. If you're discovering me, then welcome to my channel. I was traveling in Peru end of last year. That's when this YouTube bug bit me. But it took me more than 5 months to actually do something about it. So, here we are. I'm a traveler, an avid solo traveler. I've traveled to about 11 countries so far, and one of my major travel goals is to trek to the Machu Picchu. So there I was. In November 2024, I decided to go on my first ever backpacking trip to fulfill one of my major travel goals. I decided to go on this famous Inca Trail trek to the Machu Picchu. And since I was going to Peru anyway, I thought I'd also visit the Amazon rainforest. Let's talk about Machu Picchu first. So I booked this 4 days, 3 nights Inca Trail trek to Machu Picchu on TripAdvisor. I'll make a detailed video about how to book your trip to Machu Picchu to the Amazon rainforest, flights, accommodation, food, everything on a separate video. But now this video is like a disclaimer before that video because I need to talk about something important called acclimatization. Remember during COVID, we were all talking about this word called quarantine. I've heard of it before, definitely growing up, but I've never really paid attention to it until COVID happened. Similarly, I've heard of this word called acclimatization, but I never really paid attention to it until my trip to Machu Picchu. So there I was in Cusco, a mountain town in Peru at an elevation of 11,000 feet, which is approximately 3,400 meters, which is the starting point of the Machu Picchu trek. The word acclimatization basically means to get your body used to the change in elevation, the temperature, or the climatic conditions of that mountain region that you're traveling to. So when you're going to Cusco, for that matter, any mountain region which is at a very high elevation where the oxygen levels are very low, the air is thin, you need to stay put in that place. Just do nothing, stay there, walk around the neighborhood, explore the town, everything. Just stay there for at least, I would say, 7 days after my experience. But people usually stay not doing anything like major activities for at least 4 or 5 days. But I would say 7 days would be the best because you need to get your body, majorly your lungs, get used to that change in elevation, the high elevation where oxygen levels are very low. Your lungs need to function properly for you to be able to breathe properly. So that is a very important point which I failed to do. I booked my trek to Machu Picchu on the very next day of being in Cusco, meaning I landed in Cusco on November 23rd and I started my trek on November 24th. Bad move, bad move. Don't ever do that. Because I suffered so much, I had altitude sickness. I generally do a lot of research before going to any place just to get to know the do's and don'ts of the place. So I was reading on a blog, a travel blog to Machu Picchu. They did mention something about staying in the place for at least a few days to get used to that elevation. They mentioned that in a very casual way, and I didn't think it was such an important thing. Then I was talking to one of my friends, and even they said that, hey, do you know that you need to stay there at least for a few days, because of the elevation change and everything, just to get yourself used to that? Even everybody mentioned it in a very casual way, or maybe in their minds it was a very important thing, but I didn't take it that way. I thought it was just a suggestion. If anybody takes it, it's good for them. If not, it's not a big deal. Again, bad move on my part. I literally took my lungs for granted. I know I've studied in school about the air or the oxygen levels being low when you're at a very high altitude, but it just really didn't strike me. I've never hiked or trekked any mountain which is at a very high elevation. It was a very foolish thing on my part to not consider it or acknowledge the fact that the climatic conditions actually would affect your being or your hike there. So for this Inca Trail to Machu Picchu, we were a group of 16 hikers, 2 tour guides, and 24 porters. Again, I will give you all details about this trip in another video that will be posted after this video. So stay tuned to that. So it was a 4 days trip. Fourth day, you will reach the Machu Picchu. On your way back, so it's only a one way hike. On your way back, you will take a train. It's a beautiful panoramic train. So you don't have to hike back, which would definitely have been a nightmare. I would have probably just stayed in Machu Picchu and not come back. So on the first day, you will reach this elevation. Towards the end of the day, I was exhausted. I was getting a little breathless. I thought it was because of the exhaustion. But only on the second day is when I realized that no, it was not because of exhaustion, it was because of altitude sickness. Second day of the trek is the most difficult day of all the 4 days of hiking. Not just for me, for everybody too. But for me, it was worst because I had altitude sickness. So the second day, you will reach the highest point of the trek, which is 13,000 feet almost. And the path is very steep. It was freezing cold. It was raining. We were all wearing our rain ponchos with our hiking poles in hand and trying to be careful not to slip and fall because it's very slippery because of the rain. On the beginning of the second day of hiking, one of the tour guides, he noticed how I was the last person on day one to reach the campsite. So he said, the second tour guide will stay with me and make sure that I reach, or at least I'm close to the remaining hikers, and we all reach the campsite at the same time, or at least I reach the campsite safely. So the second tour guide was with me all the time. The second day was so difficult that I had to stop every few minutes to catch my breath. I've never been so breathless. I couldn't believe myself because I'm physically active most of the time. So I never really had, I've hiked before, but not at a place where the oxygen levels are low. But I'm a good hiker. I don't easily get breathless or lose my energy levels, touch wood. But I was really surprised with myself. I didn't even realize that it was altitude sickness and it would affect you so bad. And I had no idea how I was even able to push myself through and do the hike. As you get close to the summit, the peak at 13,000 feet, the path is even more steep. There are steps of stone which you need to climb, and they are very big, about more than 2 feet high, I would say. And I couldn't do it. I was not able to make myself do it. I was struggling so hard. My lungs were not helping me at all. I was struggling so much, and my tour guide, he was there. He was like motivating me to finish it. He was like, you can do it, you can do it, it's fine, you can do it. And I was telling him I'm not able to. I'm not someone who gives up that easily, and especially when I'm there on that trek, I couldn't go back. And where will I go? I was up in the mountains somewhere. There is no path. It was just stones and mountains. That's it. I had to finish the trek. So basically, we started on this side of the mountain, so climbed up, and then we have to go down. And when we reached the summit, I sat down, I was catching my breath, and I started crying without even realizing because of sheer exhaustion and happiness that I reached the summit. But I didn't finish it, of course. They're still there because I need to climb down. And that is the scariest part because it was raining. As I mentioned several times before, that the path was really slippery. Even though I was wearing good hiking shoes, I literally held my tour guide's hand and he helped me climb down. The rest of the group, they were way ahead of me. All the remaining 15 people of the group, they have stayed for week, 10 days, 2 weeks because they wanted to get acclimatized. I was the only foolish person who just took my lungs for granted. So when they had already reached the campsite, that's when I started to climb down. So that was like an hour more. And all the 4 days I was on the trek, there was no cell phone signal because we were just up outside in the woods, up in the mountains, high elevation and everything. The only way of communicating was our tour guides had a walkie talkie. That's how they communicated with the porters, the chef, the other tour guide. So that was the only way of communication. So when the other campers, they've already reached the campsite, they were having lunch, and both the tour guides were talking about where we are and how long it's going to take and everything. So when we were like halfway down the mountain, we took a break. We had some snacks on us. So we had them and then we continued with our hike. We got down the mountain, so we hike a little bit more to reach the lunch spot, and from the lunch spot we again hike up for an hour or two to reach the campsite. So the main tour guide, he informed one of the porters to stay back with the lunch that they prepared for us until the other tour guide and I reach the lunch spot. We have our lunch and then continue our hike to the campsite. And this was the worst part because if everything went according to the plan made by the tour guides, we should reach the campsite by sunset. But I reached the campsite 2 hours after the sunset. So everybody reached around 6:30. I think I reached around 8:30 or 9 or something. I mean, the idea is to reach the campsite when there's still light. But I hiked up the mountains, sorry, hiked down the mountains when it was pitch dark and we had to use our headlamps and flashlight and I couldn't see the way. It was all slippery, it was raining, it was cold. I don't know how I did that. Now when I look back and think that I went through all of that and I was able to finish my trek, reach Machu Picchu, I am so proud of myself. But at the same time, when I was there, I was cursing myself to because I didn't consider acclimatization a concept that I just took my lungs for granted and everything. So the hike to the campsite, it takes about 2 hours or so, and it was past sunset and we were still hiking. We couldn't find the way, and there are pumas up in the mountain. It's a forest, it's called the cloud forest. So there are animals. So I don't know if my family watches this, they would not allow me to go on another trip again because I have not told them about all of this. Probably they'll watch it on this channel. So there is a possibility of seeing pumas, and I was shit scared when my tour guide told me about this. I had no other option. I had to finish the trek, and then we were walking. Even my tour guide is tired, or at least he needs someone's assistance. So both the tour guides, they talked on the walkie-talkie, and when we were probably half an hour from the campsite, so a few of the porters, they walked towards us. I mean, they hiked to the spot where we were. I mean, it's only one way. If from the campsite, if they keep walking, we will obviously meet each other midway. And then because I was holding my tour guide's hand all along, even he was tired and everything. So and then a couple of porters came with us. They had like more headlamps, and they had water with them, and they had some snacks with them. So and then I couldn't do it. I don't know how I even pushed myself. I sat down for a few minutes, and I was so scared. I'm not someone who gets scared so easily. I don't think I've never gotten scared in any of my travels. I've always taken care of myself. I know how to take care of myself very well. I'm very cautious whenever I go alone to any country in the world. So but that point, because my body was exhausted, since my body was exhausted, I couldn't make up my mind to motivate myself to be strong and brave and everything. I was on the verge of just collapsing. It was that bad. My body was not, because we started trekking at 5:30 in the morning and I reached the campsite at 8:30. My body was completely exhausted. I was mentally exhausted too. I couldn't make myself just stay put. I had to sit down. So the porter, so he switched places with the tour guide, and I was holding his hand. And because I don't know the way, also they have to direct me, and it was a slippery path, and I was scared to do it. So I just held his hand, and I learned a few words of Spanish to ask them to like slow down, like despacio, despacio, or to ask them to wait, para, just wait. So I asked them what the words are. So I used those because the porters couldn't speak Spanish. The tour guides did. So since I was holding the tour porter's hand, so I was talking to him just using these two words in Spanish, and then I was saying gracias, gracias. So we walked and we finally reached the campsite, and the main tour guide came to me, and so it's a hassle for the rest of the group as well, because ideally two tour guides, one tour guide leads the way and one tour guide is all the way at the back, so that if anybody is behind or something, so he will be able to direct them. But in this case, there's just one tour guide because the other tour guide was with me, and the main tour guide, he had to take care of all the 15 hikers and take them safely to the campsite. It was a very hard hike for other people as well. It was worst for me. And then when I reached the campsite, I was in no position to sit and eat with the rest of the group. I just told my guide that, I'm not in a stage. I literally want to just go and sleep in my tent. That's what I did. And I literally, this whole, my throat and my chest area, it all became very sore because throughout the day I was breathless. I was constantly panting, and I had shooting pains in my throat and chest. It was so bad that my entire area of my trachea, it was sore. I literally could feel it. It was so painful. I never knew that sort of thing could even happen. I just went straight to my sleeping bag and I slept. And on day 3, as soon as I woke up, everybody came rushing to me and they were asking me, "Hey, are you okay? Are you okay? We didn't see you last night. When did you reach the campsite?" I was like, "Yeah, it took me, I think I came at night." Like, I didn't feel comfortable when everybody kept asking me. I know they were concerned and everything, but I don't like to come off as a weak person. So I didn't really feel good about whatever was going on. I mean, they were very nice and everything. They were sweet, they were asking me, but in my head, I didn't feel good about it. Day 3 was the easiest day of all the 4 days. We started our hike at 6:30 in the morning after breakfast, and we finished by 1 o'clock for lunch. We were ready. But still, even that day, the second tour guide, he was with me and he made sure it's like he was my own designated tour guide. I felt sorry for all that, but still they had to do it because it's their responsibility that all of the hikers get to the campsite safe and secure. Alive, safe and alive. So, this is the most difficult thing I had to do in my life until now. I will remember this trip until the day I die. Even if I do something harder than this, I will still remember this. This will still be on the top of my list of hard things to do because I've never suffered so much in my life. Lesson learned, but the hard way. So, what did we learn today? To get acclimatized when you are hiking up a mountain region. Very, very, very important. I'm really thankful to that tour guide, eternally thankful to him because he really made sure that I was able to finish my trek. He motivated me, he stayed by my side. He was so nice and he was very considerate of my situation, and he really motivated me. He didn't rush me at all. He understood my situation. He was very patient with me and he made sure that I got to the campsite safe. Though it's their responsibility, he could have rushed me or just made my situation worse. But no, he was so patient. I'm always thankful for him, and I made a very good decision by booking this trek on TripAdvisor. So I'm gonna give you all the details of how to book your trip to Machu Picchu, how much it costs, and what about the food and sanitation and everything, along with all the details of the Amazon rainforest, another adventure coming up. So where to stay, what to do, what I have done, and everything in my next video. So I hope whoever has no idea about how important acclimatization is, I hope you learned that important lesson today. And please make sure that you get acclimatized whenever you are hiking up a mountain. I cannot stress this enough. It is very, very, very important for you to have a very smooth and easy trek. It's fits for your own good. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video with my Peru trip details. Bye.